Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3, a new effort to find fresh leads in the JonBenet Ramsey murder case. Support is growing for a petition to take the case away now from Boulder police and to use the latest DNA technology.
The new technique that they're talking about is called investigative genetic genealogy, and you cannot afford to waste it on a technique that may not work.
Denver's former DA weighs in on possible changes in the 25-year-old investigation as Governor Polis promises his review as well.
Colorado Congressman Jason Crow is back in Colorado after meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. We're taking a look at the progress today getting civilians out of the hardest hit areas.
And your donations to our Denver 7 Gives Wildfire Fund are paying off in a big way. Families over the weekend picked up some essential items to help them try to put their lives back together 4 months now after the fire. We are following some breaking news right now next to I-70 and Holly Street. Take a look at these images. This is from our photographer on the ground there with the fire crews fighting a massive pile of trash that is sending huge plumes of smoke into the air right across I-70 and across the downtown area. So if you see thick smoke in that area, this is what it's coming from as firefighters appear to be attacking it from the air. It is causing traffic backups in both directions along I-70, but you can see there's a large response and fire crews say nothing is in danger, but that it just kind of looks worse than it actually is, and they do seem to have it under control. But again, it is creating some backups on the roads this morning. So we'll be keeping tabs on that for you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Let's get over to Lisa Hidalgo. One nice thing we're seeing out there is a little overnight rain that's continuing into the morning, Lisa.
It was a little loud last night, though.
It was.
Yeah. Woke up our family. We had a couple of really strong thunderstorms roll through, but you're right. Yeah, we'll take that if it means rain. And nice to see finally some decent precipitation here across parts of northern and northeastern Colorado. We have a rain snow mix in spots. In fact, south of Denver, snow down near the Palmer Divide, also west up and through the foothills. And you can see where it's mixing out a little bit there close to the airport right now. So you are going to find some rain, a little bit of snow in spots, wet conditions. It's a cold start for the kiddos. Make sure they've got a jacket on today. We're going to be in the mid to upper 30s early this morning, only about 10 degrees warmer by the time they get home later today. Things will clear out, though. We are going to see partly sunny skies later today, drier roads for the evening commute. So we'll be in the upper 40s to near 50 this afternoon. That's well below normal. We're typically mid to upper 60s here as we get into the first couple of weeks of May. Right now, you can see from City Park just how, well, gray the skies are. Coming up, we'll take a look at the next round of rain. We've got another shot, it looks like, Jason, on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've had a lot of wet weather, not only around town, but snow to the west and also snow to the south. South of Castle Rock, there's quite a bit of snow there. That smoke that you're seeing there across northern Denver, north side of Denver, here at about 47th and Ivy, just north of I-70. Take a look from the camera back here near Quebec. So this is westbound I-70. There is the fire and the smoke that you see going across I-70 and going into downtown, or going just on the south side of the east side of downtown Denver, basically along Colorado Boulevard. So that is definitely affecting the traffic here. And you can see on the drive times right now, both the east and westbound side of I-70 is affected by that fire in there. We also have a crash northbound I-225 right before I-70. That's blocking up a couple of lanes, so that's nearly a half an hour's drive there. And then we have this stalled car possible crash on westbound I-76 near Pecos in the right lane. So that's heavy all the way back to I-25.
Well, it is a Colorado cold case that has been in the global spotlight really since 1996. Investigators are still trying to figure out who killed JonBenet Ramsey.
This morning, the state is looking into a new petition supported by her father requesting the case be transferred away from Boulder police. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us. And Christian, he hopes new technology can finally shed some light on this 25-year-old case.
Yeah, and that petition started just a few days ago, and it has already gathered thousands of signatures. This is a case that captured worldwide attention after 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey was reported missing on Christmas Day in 1996. Her body was found a day later in her family's basement, and her killer has still not been found. That petition now calling on the state to use new genetic genealogy to help solve the case. We spoke to former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey, who investigated the case years ago. He now has a company that has solved nearly a dozen cases using genetic genealogy. and we spoke to him about whether or not he thinks this technology could help solve the case.
Well, there's issues with the technology. First of all, you're sequencing the DNA. And there are problems doing that when you have a mixture of two people's DNA. The DNA in the Ramsey case is always been a mixture. It's a mixture wherever you find it.
Governor Jared Polis said the state would do what it can to help and maybe use this technology to hopefully get some answers and finally solve this case. Reporting live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. Boulder police also issued a statement saying they have used state-of-the-art DNA technology in their investigation into JonBenét's killing. Boulder says as of this past December, CBI has updated over 750 reference samples with the latest technology, and case DNA is checked often for new matches. Boulder Police Chief Maris Harold said every time new DNA technology is changed, they work to make sure the evidence can be tested. So we take a closer look at the numbers this morning. Since 1996, Boulder police have received more than 21,000 tips connected to the Ramsey case. Investigators have traveled to 19 different states to interview more than 1,000 people. Boulder police say the investigation has and will continue to be a priority for them.
Well, now to the latest in Ukraine, where Congressman Jason Crow of Colorado and other congressional leaders met with President Zelensky over the weekend. The talks came as a dramatic escape is underway. Civilians who've taken shelter beneath a steel factory in Mariupol are finally emerging and looking to find safety. Here's ABC's Justin Finch.
In the bomb-ravaged southeastern city of Mariupol, new video posted by city officials and filmed by the far-right Azov battalion appears to show Ukrainian civilians safely escaping after weeks of war. And at that Mariupol steel plant defended by Ukrainian forces, women and children seen evacuating Sunday in video released by Russia's defense ministry. As many as 1,000 civilians believed still holed up inside, along with Ukrainian fighters. President Zelensky saying about 100 civilians safely cleared those front lines thanks to a ceasefire and the efforts of the Red Cross and the United Nations. Once over, Ukrainian officials say Russian troops resumed bombing that steel plant. ABC's Marcus Moore with a woman who says her husband died defending Mariupol and describing the dire conditions he saw.
People can't to see a sky. They see, they see bunkers. They have not eat, they have not water.
Across Ukraine, Russia escalating its assaults, and the U.S. showing renewed support for Ukraine.
Nice to meet you.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi leading a previously unannounced congressional delegation to Ukraine. Pelosi, now the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Kyiv, arriving just days after President Biden called on Congress to authorize $33 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine.
We leave with a firmer understanding and more current understanding of what needs to be done, with a deeper appreciation of inspiration from those who are in this fight.
And the White House just announced First Lady Jill Biden will visit Ukrainian parents and children in Romania and Slovakia who've been displaced by Russia's war. That visit taking place over Mother's Day weekend. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Denver is exploring several strategies to provide more affordable housing, and Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us this morning because pre-applications are open today for at least one option for families.
That's exactly it. Being able to get into adequate, good housing, it is tough for a lot of Denver families, but today's a chance for them to get one step closer to that. And that's because the Denver Housing Authority's subsidized housing pre-application process that opened just hours ago, right around midnight. This typically only happens once a year, so let's get right down to who can apply to get one of these homes. We're talking about families. That's anyone with children. And then disabled families. That means the head of household lives with a disability or two people in the family are disabled. Non-elderly disabled persons, a person who lives with a disability and is less than 62 years old. Elderly family, where the head of a household is at least 62. And elderly persons, a person who's at least 62 as well. The program consists of about 4,600 units in Denver, but as you can imagine, some of those are taken. Right now, DHA has anywhere between 250 to 400 units available. And if you're wondering about those rent prices, that is solely based off income. Officials say the important part of this program is getting people into comfortable homes.
a foundation of a high quality home is the foundation to everybody's dream, success, and aspirations, right? So it's incumbent upon us, everybody in the Denver community, to make sure that we have enough available, affordable, high quality units that people can have a stable home. So therefore then they can seek education, better medical opportunities close to job centers, close to really high quality health opportunities. So the stable house means everything.
The pre-application does have to be submitted online. The process is open starting today all the way up until May 11th. In studio, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Also, sticking with the housing front, Aurora City Council will fine-tune its urban camping ban today. The overall ban went into effect over the weekend, but some policies still need to be finalized before they can be enforced. City leaders are looking into a possible day resource center and what will happen to people's belongings after a camp is cleaned up. Also, Colorado lawmakers are looking to better regulate tiny homes. A bill would put the same requirements in place as manufactured homes, which means they would have to follow the standards set by the State Housing Board when it comes to building and installing the homes, and the state could also require inspections of a tiny home.
Well, it's been a difficult 4 months for families impacted by the Marshall Fire, but throughout that time, Coloradans have shown up for each other again and again. And over the weekend, we saw it again. Denver 7 teamed up with Amazon to donate $40,000 worth of essential items to families in need. The families chose items from a wish list. These were basic things that they lost in the fire. And over the weekend, around 100 families were able to pick up the donations for free. For many, like Marianne Lasky and her family, it's still a long road to recovery.
Probably the most difficult part is really trying to get your life set up again. It's really hard to comprehend what it means to lose everything. As of December 30th, every single thing we owned fit in an SUV.
It feels that we're doing our part to support them. It's a long-term recovery, and whatever we can do to continue to support as they rebuild is what we're here to do.
And the warehouse will be open to Marshall Fire victims every Saturday for as long as it's needed. It's the Precious Child Warehouse in Broomfield. You do not need an appointment.
How quickly do you respond to a text message that appears to be from your boss? The warning from the Better Business Bureau that it might be a scam.
And shoes that look good enough to eat. Broomfield-based Crocs is adding a little something extra to the classic clogs.